Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Real Estate Roundtable presented by Angie Belay and Associates. We're a real estate team located in the Windsor-Essex County area with RE/MAX Preferred Realty. In this week's episode, we'll be discussing first-time buyers. My name is Steve Blaze, Team General Manager, and I'd like to welcome two other realtors, Fiona McDonald and Melissa Tiburon. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Crazy warm outside. Super nice spring is here.
Exciting.
It's gorgeous out. I went for a long walk this morning. Yeah.
Enjoying it. It's a little bit windy, but I'll take it. So is the spring market. The spring market is here as well. So I think back to a lot of, in the spring market, we have first-time buyers who want to get in, right? This is when they often want to start looking. And I think back to, in the years that I've been doing this, a lot of the questions that I get asked. And I thought today we'd go over some of the most popular questions that people ask us. First of all, I guess the initial question I get asked is, who do I call first? Is it the bank? Is it the realtor? Chicken or the egg? That sort of thing. So I would say I could go either way, but in my opinion, I think you should contact your realtor first. And the reason being, first, we can go through kind of what you're expecting, what you're looking for. We know the market. We know what's available in different price points. We have, so I guess first off with that, we can maybe eliminate certain things from, for example, if you're looking for a certain price range, expecting a certain type of home for you to want to buy, it may not be possible in the current market. And that might save you the time involved in going through the pre-approval process with a lender if it's not really what you want to do in the long run. But we also have a lot of great relationships with the lenders. So once we go through that process with you, explain how it all works, we can get you in touch with the right mortgage broker to suit your needs. We have some great rates as well. So how about you guys? Any popular questions?
So I completely agree with what you just said, Steve. I find a lot of people, first-time home buyers, are usually listening to what their parents are saying, right?
Yeah.
And so whoever they've worked with in the past is usually the person that they go to for mortgages or whatever. And that's fantastic. Like, that's not always wrong, but like, if you come in contact with one of the realtors first, we know the people that we work really well with, right? But I've got a couple other questions from first-time home buyers that I hear all the time, just a few of them. One of the big ones is about inspections. And I would say it looks a little bit different, right? This is a different process, especially in this market. Spring market just hit, like you said, Steve, and it's nuts, just even more so over the last, say, week or two, but not impossible. With inspections, I love the fact that we've got a handful of great inspectors in the area that have gotten very creative to make sure that inspections are accessible and affordable to first-time home buyers, because the process is so different, right? We're no longer doing inspections right with an inspection condition any longer. So what that would look like is, before we write an offer, what we want to do is make sure it's something we want to write an offer on, right? That would be before putting that offer together. So a pre-inspection. So we look at a home, we like it, there's a couple areas of concern, so we book a pre-inspection. And like I said, there are fantastic professional inspectors in the community that have created a bunch of different options to make that more feasible, because it may happen more than once with the same buyer, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely, Fiona. Also, just wanted to mention, with home inspections, it is something I completely agree. A lot of people are asking, do I need a home inspection before I put an offer in, and I think it's a really, really good point that having something done prior to actually putting your offer in, that is a new thing. That's not something we used to do before, right? With the non-conditional and conditional offers, and educating people all about that. But one thing I wanted to mention too is just educating people in this market in general. Like, it's so crazy, the past 5 years, I think every year I've been saying it's getting crazier, and it's getting crazier, right? Where now, just the past few weeks, it's like a whole new explosion that's happening. So I really like to sit down my first time home buyers and really educate them on the market, on what to expect, because they're not prepared sometimes with multiple offers, or, going in without any conditions. So having, a meeting with them, educating them, discussing all of that, just helps the process a little bit better. So
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because it's not, you look at list prices and expectations are very different from reality right now, right?
Yeah, and it's really, really
Yeah,
hard, telling somebody you have to go in $100,000 over the asking, right? Like that's a whole other can of worms, but it's the truth, right? And it's something that we have to discuss with them so that they're prepared, because we know as realtors that 25,000 over the asking price, that's that no longer works. 50,000, that does no longer works. We're seeing 200,000 over the asking price.
right.
So telling that to a new buyer is just like, they look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
Here, sit down before we talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And the deposits, the deposits are increasing. So that's one of the other questions I get asked a lot is, what's the difference between a deposit and a down payment, right?
Yeah.
They sound similar. Deposits are the amount of money that you submit with your offer or upon acceptance. So traditionally around here these days, it's been around $5,000. Other metropolitan areas like Toronto, areas like that, we're seeing much bigger deposits. So those, they could be 10,000, 20,000, but around here we're somewhere between that $5,000 and $10,000 range usually. And that's an amount that you would submit if your offer was successful, and it would go to the listing brokerage and held in trust. The down payment, and of course that's applied to the purchase price on closing. The down payment is the amount required by your lender for your particular situation. So let's just say you're going high ratio and you're at 5% down. That would be the down payment, and that would be due on closing. And of course, your deposit would come out, would be reduced by your deposit amount. And then if you're a conventional mortgage, you're going to be over 20%. So, I mean, a lot of people think that they require their whole down payment when the offer is accepted. So that's not the case, really. It's just the deposit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just with cash offers, that's something that people ask too is, do I have to have the cash, all the cash, right? And, for the offer, does that mean the money just has to be sitting in my bank account, right? We're explaining to them that no, that's not the case. It's just that you do have to have your pre-approval or the amount from the mortgage on the closing date, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think even the process is daunting for first-time home buyers. It's like, I feel like you said, Melissa, you sit down and kind of explain what this all looks like, because I think there's this assumption that everybody knows what it looks like to purchase a house. Number one, it is a process when you're a first-time home buyer, not even first-time home buyers though. Like just this week, we've seen several multiple offer situations in the millions. In $1 million homes. And so this isn't just for first-time home buyers. There is a process involved. You don't just see a house you like and go write an offer and it's yours any longer, right? So it's an offer, it's it's a process, it's competitive. Don't get discouraged. You find a realtor. I strongly suggest maybe even shopping around and getting to know a couple realtors and picking one that you really click with, because it is going to be a process. It is a relationship. You're going to spend copious amounts of time with this individual, especially in this market. It's not just we open one door and there you go, you've found your forever home any longer. So find somebody that you enjoy, that you trust, that you communicate well with. I would say that's a biggie for first-time home buyers. You go get pre-approved, like Steve said. Find a mortgage broker that you think is going to work well with your realtor, that has been spoken highly of, and really understands the pace of the market. Get creative with some areas, price points, styles of homes. You've got to keep an open mind in this market. It's not just, I want the white picket fence on this street. Not that easy anymore. So getting a little bit creative and open-minded, I would say, is a biggie. Then you get shopping. And that's the fun part, right, guys?
Yeah. But it's not like HGTV, right? So you don't see like 3 homes and then one of them you negotiate and we celebrate. It's a little bit different in real life. So it can be, you got to have that patience and the right agent.
Yeah, it really can be discouraging, for people, like in general, not even first-time home buyers, but especially them. It can be so discouraging because, you can be at it for quite a while before you get something, especially when there's a budget involved, right? So if you act is 300,000, although that's like a great budget, it really gets harder and harder as the prices continue to increase. So yeah, again, I would say let's not be discouraged. We really want to, push our clients forward and really help them the best we can. And we do that on our team, which is fabulous. But I always try to keep them encouraged and keep trying.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good call. Keeping a positive attitude, right?
Exactly. What about renting though? Like, is it, because, okay, maybe the market's hot. Do we wait it out and maybe we rent for a little while instead and maybe hope that the market calms down?
I have to say that's a good point, because I've had several people ask me that, like, maybe Melissa, I'll just wait till next year. I've had clients that said that to me 3 years ago, right? And they're still waiting because you guys have probably heard this. Oh, I'm going to wait till the market goes down, right? So unfortunately, things have gone up quite a bit in the past 3 years, right? Like, I should have listened to you, and it just takes time and experience for some people, and playing, getting into the market. But yeah, yeah.
I think it's just a matter of getting in, right? And then it may not be the dream home necessarily, but getting into the market and building that equity is that first step towards your dream home.
Yes, for sure. But I also wanted to say that, yeah, there is no better time than to buy now, right? That's what I believe, because yeah, if you wait another year, the prices could be even higher again next year, right? So I say there's no better time than now to try and get into the market if you can, right? And if your budget isn't high enough and you just can't get into the market, then I guess there is no other option, but to rent. But if you can, building that equity now is the best thing to do, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Commissions. So when we're talking about who pays your realtor, that's another question that comes up quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do either of you want to explain that one?
Sure. Go ahead.
So guess what? As a first-time home buyer or any buyer, the commission doesn't come out of your pocket. So you get to work with a realtor of your choice and not necessarily at your cost. So the seller pays both the selling agent and the cooperating agent. So when you're on the other side flipping that first house you had, then you have the joy of taking on that commission, but it's not yours to assume at the moment.
Yeah,
right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's another reason why, just working with one agent, buyer's agent, you're not paying them. And if you get a good agent, and you find someone that you really want to work with, they're working for you. They're taking you out. They're setting up appointments. They're helping you get the home of your dreams. And at the end of it all, you're not paying them. So yeah, I think it's fabulous. Yeah.
Absolutely. Programs. There are some government programs out there to help first-time buyers. And I'll go through some of those briefly. Of course, like any other government program, there's all sorts of criteria that varies and has to be met. Ultimately, I guess this just would be a quick summary on the programs that are out there, but I'd always consult with, your lawyer, your mortgage broker, your realtor, your accountant, whenever we're dealing with CRA programs, especially. So one of those programs is the first-time homebuyers tax credits, what it used to be called, and that's called the Homebuyers amount. And that's basically just a $5,000 credit that you can claim in the year you purchased your home on your taxes. So as long as you haven't owned a home in the past 4 years, you are viewed as a first-time buyer. I mean, as far as that program goes. So that's great. Take advantage of that. This next one is one that's a little bit controversial right now, I guess, the CMHC first-time buyer incentive. So this is essentially you partnering with the, with the government in how your home appreciates in value or declines in value. So you're trying to lower your monthly payments by them assisting you with down payment. So just as an example, if you were buying a new home, you could go and say 5 or say 10% down, and they would match that for you, which is of course then bringing down your monthly payment, because you've just got more down payment down, plus the CMHC premium on that would lower as well. So your premiums or your monthly payments are a lot lower. Resale homes, 5%. So let's just say you did that, you're putting 5% down, they match it, you've got 10% down now. So that definitely helps. here's the issue, is that when you repay this, which you need to do within 25 years or whenever you sell your home. So, if you stay in your home for 40 years, within 25 years, you need to pay that off. If you move in 5 years, that's when you pay it off. So at that point, you need to repay that percentage. Because you're partnering with the government, especially in a market like we've seen, if you had entered into this when the program came out in 2019 and you bought the home for $300,000 and you took that 5% from them, and your home was now worth $500,000, you're going to owe them 5% on that $500,000. So it's they go along for the ride with you for the good and the bad. And as we know in real estate, for the most part, you're really dealing with appreciating values, right? That's why it's one of the best investments out there. So in most cases, the government, this is a good program for them. It's great for people as well to help keep those payments down. But I would just urge people to look into that more carefully without thinking it's free money, because it does cost you. And in fact, as of April 2020, in 6 months of the program running, there were only 4,400 in all of Canada applications for this program, and only 2,000 people in all of the country that actually got money from the program.
Wow.
I have a client.
I didn't know that.
Received that. So.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can be a good program. It's just one of those things that if you don't know how it works, when you go to sell, it can cost you pretty big money, a good portion of your of the increase in value. So another program out there is that typical RSP plan that's been around for a little while. You can borrow up to $35,000 from your RSPs and repay those within 15 years. But you must live in the property for a minimum of 1 year, right? And then, of course, the land transfer tax rebate. If you're a first-time buyer, Ontario offers a tax refund of up to $4,000 for it. Now, that's there's a tiered sliding scale there. So depending on what your property value is, there's a point where it no longer covers it. So you may still be on the hook for some land transfer tax, especially as prices climb around here. But the maximum would be $4,000 on that one. So there's some good programs to take advantage of out there. But yeah, look into them for sure. Yeah. So any final closing ideas or pro tips that either of you would want to pass along to a first-time buyer thinking of getting in the market today?
I would just say get in the market, get your foot in the door. I've got a couple clients that were looking 2 years ago, like Melissa said, and it's like, just get your foot in the door. It's an exciting time. Don't be discouraged. Don't be scared. Get your foot in the door and start letting this market work for you.
Yeah. Fiona there also wanted to add that, find a, educated real estate agent, experienced agent in this market, who, knows what to expect, who's a go-getter, who's going to really push hard to help you find a home, that you're looking for and within your budget, right? That's where the hard part comes, right? For some of the first-time home buyers, right? Because of their budget. So yeah, find someone who's really going to advocate and work hard for you, for sure.
Absolutely. So true.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, ladies, for joining today and passing on some of this information. Next Thursday at noon, we are going to be discussing the best home renovations that you can make for the biggest return on investment. So that'll be an exciting one. So again, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye.
Bye.